I want to ask you about, I know that one of the reasons that you came back to your faith as well is because you hope to meet your mother, am I right?
Well, the thing is, the big motivation is, I just hope there is a heaven. Like, I just hope there is a heaven. Like, I was guilty of elder abuse. Like, I treated my mother, who didn't buy a dress for 20 years, who didn't go to a movie for 20 years, who didn't take a holiday for 20 years in order to give me an education. I came from a place in Cork where maybe only a half a dozen of us did Leaving Cert. She sent me to a fee-paying school, the only guy in the place who went to a fee-paying school, and she did everything. She gave me every chance. And I treat her like shit. Right? Now, I can excuse it, you know, my business is going bust, my wife's going to leave me, you know, blah, 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 but I treated her like shit. I attempted to sell the house over her head when she was still living in it to pay my debts, right? Now, luckily, I kind of got over that in a bit of jiggery-pokery, but I tried to do it, like, that's how I treated my mother. And then my mother is dying of cancer, and I'm over in America coaching rugby because I'm trying to keep skin and hair together, and she's dying, like, she's dying. And I'm fucking around, like. And I come home, and she's been in a coma for a week, and she hasn't opened her eyes, said a word. And I go up to the bed, and I say, "Hello, ma'am." And she says, "Hello, son." She hasn't uttered, like, she hasn't opened her eyes for a week. And apparently it is true that apparently parents do hang on and they kind of know about children. I don't know, but doctors told me that. And I said, "How are you feeling, ma'am?" And she says, "Not great, son." And that was it. She didn't die, but she went back into the coma and she died that night. You know, I got there, but like, I treated her like crap. Like absolute crap. This is my mother. So, like, she only saw a son who was a failure in business, who wasn't a great husband, who wasn't a great father, who wasn't a great anything, you know, and she'd given all this to him, you know, and I just want to heaven, you know, and I want to get up there and I meet Peter at the gate, and Peter said, "George, your mother's waiting for you inside," you know, and I want to go in and I want to say, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but listen, I made it," you know, and I know, no, please. It's not for applause. I didn't do it for applause. She, like, can you imagine, like, I suddenly am able to say to her, all those sacrifices, all those things, I made it, you know, and I mean, for 20 years since she died, not a day has passed that I don't regret how I treated my mother. I didn't do much better for my father, as it happens, but like, there are guys who are very close to their mothers, you know. There just are certain. I mean, all men are.
And I think Irish men.
Yeah, but like, this was an incredible bond we had, you know. She taught me to talk, you know. My mother could talk for Ireland, and like, she'd just keep talking, and she'd be on the phone. Somebody would ring up and they'd say, "Mrs. Hook, is George there?" And she'd say, "No. But let me tell you," and then she started talking for about 20 minutes, you know. So that's where all the talking came from her.
George.
And reading, like, all I can remember in my childhood is her in the kitchen reading books, and she gave me that, and just everything is her.
Yeah, and you kind of threw it all back in her face and never got the chance to make it right.
I mean, to be honest, I'm just a bloody fraud, like, you know. I mean, I am, like, you can't go around and you can't just justify that. There's no justification. So therefore I have to find a way. She's the only one that counts, like, with respect to the audience or you or whatever, that doesn't matter. What counts is her.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get the chance to do that.